What's up, everybody? Well, I'm wearing my dragonfly blouse. I'm trying to make a quick video wherein I don't have to whisper. And what I want to talk about, first of all, sorry about that strobe light effect in some of my other videos. That's because all I have are these cheap Dollar Tree lights, little lanterns. They're cute little lanterns, but for a light on my face, that's what I'm using. And right now it's pouring down raining cats and dogs, much to my dismay. And that causes me to have to use these lights more than I would like to be using the lights. And as a result of that, their batteries get weak. And weak batteries and these cheap lights cause them to strobe, go in and out, on and off like. So, what I want to talk about in this video, I know I'm not audible much of the time, but this kind of brings back memories. And I never learned how to play the harmonica. That's what I'm saying. Suno is my freaking dream because all I have to do is specify an instrument. And while the tune is completely random, it's like having a band. I could specify whatever instrument I want or I'm craving and come out with some random tune, which is actually better than, trying to, use a tune of a pre-existing song and get copyright views. Well, I used to have this harmonica. Well, I had it for years. And the only thing I really learned how to play on it was the train sound. And that was, I put the red dots to tell me where the low end was so I don't accidentally blow the high end. And, I just want to talk about how a lot of what makes my past really bad is not that anything was necessarily all that bad that I experienced. Wait, I could probably get more light on my face. But this is probably not a strong light either. You see, when batteries go weak, lights flash. But it's mostly the humiliation, and it's just so embarrassing sometimes. I don't really know what people were thinking of me, but I would start my bull spit every year about the things that, I'm obsessed with or obsessed by. And this little character, this Rugrats character that I made named Ralph, is one of the many things that I am somewhat ashamed of, but, I guess, it's a name that I basically gave him, and it's pretty obvious why I like the name so much. But, and the Cody and Penny thing, and it's just really embarrassing, that all my life I have never been shy about putting myself out there, sort of a take it or leave it thing. It's like I've never wanted to be liked for someone who I wasn't. I have never wanted people to like me and then find out later that I'm someone that they cannot stand or I have interests that they cannot stand. And as such, I've just never been pretentious or never been able to really hide the things that are embarrassing about me. And, as a result, I've only ever had my immediate family as friends. But it's just so embarrassing, more than my life in the past is traumatic, it's more embarrassing or humiliating than anything. It's not so much that anything was necessarily all that bad, because obviously, I'm in one piece. I have all 206 bones in my body. The only body part that I don't have is the one I never wanted to have, my uterus. And, I guess in that regard, I'm lucky. I'm luckier than most women. But my life is more humiliating than anything. It's just, that song, I Started a Joke, really resonates with me. Just always have. Always has. I don't really know exactly what it's about, but it just reminds me of my life. Like, it could be the story of my life. It's the only Bee Gees song that I really just could listen to on and on and on, over and over again. And I really don't like it when our parents sneak up on me when I'm trying to listen to my music, which is why I say loneliness would be a vast improvement over my life. because I could actually do the things I want and like the things I like and not feel like I'm being judged for it, and not, even just people knowing the things that I listen to, like, and draw is just humiliating because it's like I have no idea what people are thinking of me and how obvious it is. Things like the fact that I named that kid Ralph. I liked him because he was a cute little boy, which I found was missing in Rugrats. Like, you just did not have any characters, like Angelica was truly a cute little girl. You did not really have a male equivalent of that. You had stupid, ugly Tommy, you had sissified, long haired Chucky, and you had the twins, but no one was a cute little boy, and they certainly didn't make much of an appearance on the show. Well, that little comic book character, it's like I like those kinds of characters because they're more of a blank slate. They're more of a, I can make them what I want them to be. And he just looked like Tommy with brown hair. I like brown hair because they don't have enough normal looking people. He just looked like Tommy if he got a little bit older and his hair was brown instead of purple. And I named him Ralph, and it's just so humiliating to realize how obvious it may have been to people that I shared these ideas with, that I named him Ralph, because it's just so obvious what that's a slang for, along with Chuck, like Chucky, and calling Earl would be another slang, and calling Huey is another slang. But, it's just embarrassing, that I like these things and that, I can't really be creative, around people because I end up revealing too much about myself. And that the only thing that I'm really into is trains, vomit, and a few other silly things. So go ahead and post this video.